I always feel like I should turn the camera on, but I'm not doing it. All right, so 1 week from today, exam 1, we'll do it right here in class. You'll have to produce an AutoCAD drawing. It'll be some dimensioning and pretty much just like your labs. It will include layers, so we're going to do layers today, and it will include templates. So we're going to do templates today, and then you get a little more practice with it on next Tuesday. I'll give you one more little assignment just to practice, but that's just, you know, just learning how to set them up and use them. It's pretty straightforward. So next week, exam 1 in class, 10:30. All right, new share. Let's go to AutoCAD. I don't know why there's 2 AutoCAD screens. It's interesting. All right, hopefully that works. You're screen sharing. All right, we'll just say it is. All right, I give myself a little drawing here. I did open a regular ACAD template, so that's the inches template, right? So I did draw in inches, and I just want to show you how to create layers and use layers, and then also how to create templates. So, and what should be in a template. Once you have a template, then we can just use those over and over and over. All right, the layer area is right here. And the primary purpose of layers is just to organize information. So things like dimensions would be on their own layer. Notes might be on their own layer. Depending on what kind of a drawing it is, this is more of a mechanical drawing. Visible edges like these lines, all these, those would typically be on their own layer, and then hidden lines might be on their own layer. You'll find companies do this differently. Some companies will separate everything. Others companies don't separate anything, doesn't seem like. So really, the only purpose for layers is to organize complicated information and then be able to turn that on and off. So like if you're drawing a home, you might want to draw the foundation on a layer, right? And then you might want to put the external walls on a different layer. Once you have those, then you could turn the concrete layer off and make it less confusing and just work with the walls. And then the electrical, that might be on its own layer. The plumbing, that could be on its own layer. So then you can turn things on and off and make prints of just the electrical, or prints of just the plumbing, or prints of just the concrete, right? So when you do that, you have control over what you print out. If everything's on the same layer, then you're kind of stuck. So that's the primary purpose. Creating layers is pretty easy. It's this layer properties. So if you find the layer for you Mac folks, if you find the layer area, that's this window, properties is going to be very nearby, right? So if you click on properties, that opens up the layer property box, and then you can add them. So you can see that I added one called lines. You might want to be, one of my pet peeves is layers that are not very descriptive. And you get these a lot. Like I got a civil drawing the other day and the layers were all like CW, TF, JP. I'm like, I have no idea what any of this means. So like be a little more descriptive, visible lines, right? And then maybe, and that button's right here to create them. If you mouse over these buttons, it'll tell you what they are. This one says new layer. It has a little, I don't know, star next to it, I guess. When you click it, it just gives you a layer and it calls it layer 1, and it's ready for you to type. So maybe I need hidden lines. I'm just going to make a few just so you can kind of see how this works. And then maybe dimensions. I do use color. It's kind of helpful when you're, when you're drawing, and makes things look a little easier on your eye. So I'm going to throw some color, and I'm just picking this color swath out of each layer and choosing a color. Again, this is just creating them. I'll do a red here. All right. So once you get them created, you can turn them on and off. That's the light bulb. You can freeze and thaw. Whoops, that's a current layer. Can't freeze a current layer. But you see it changes to a little snowflake. And then you can lock and unlock. You can print. We can also set line types to layers. So this is nice. Like the hidden layer, hidden lines. I'm going to change that line type to hidden. I have to load it first. So load. I'm going to go down to just regular old hidden. Say okay. And okay. Remember that just loads it. Now I can choose it because it still says continuous up here. These are continuous lines, right? They have no breaks in them. So I will say hidden. Okay. Continuous is good for dimensions. And there's, you can keep going with layers on and on and on. I could have a notes layer. I could have a title block layer. All of those would be really good to just separate things, right? All right. Again, that just creates them. Now they are in the pull down. See, they're here. So you'll find your way to work with layers. I'm a little old school in that I just draw and then I move things to layers. So like I drew this, but these two things right here, they're supposed to be hidden. But I just draw it first. And then I choose it, which is the grips. And then I just go pick the layer and it'll put it on there for me. So that just saves me the time of going up, switching layer, and then drawing, and then going up, switching layer, and then drawing. Plus, I always forget, always. So I just draw, like whatever I want to draw, right? I draw it. And then, that's ugly, can't let that stay that way. Then if I wanted something on a layer, I would then go and just grab it and throw it on a layer. I could throw it there, I could throw it there, I could throw it here, right? So maybe I want all of this on the visible layer. So I choose it all and I go visible. And it's on there, just like that, right? All of these should be on the visible layer. So I would choose those and throw them onto the visible layer, right? If I want that layer to have line thickness, remember visible lines are supposed to be thicker. I can control that in the layer area. So visible lines, here's the line weight default, right? So that just means it has no. And AutoCAD's really odd in that it gives you the, even in a US inches drawing, it gives you millimeters. So super frustrating, but that's the way they load the software. But, if I'm thinking, okay, on a piece of paper, 1 millimeter is pretty thick. So I'll go closer to like a 0.5 millimeter. And I'll say, okay. So now all of these, everything on this layer has this thickness to it. It doesn't look like it, right? Even when you zoom in, it doesn't look like it. And that's because line weight is turned off. And that's so you don't have to deal with the line thickness when you're drawing, like what part of the line am I grabbing or anything like that. I used 0.53. So to see the line thickness, like even in layout, you won't see the line thickness, right? So if you want to see the line thickness, there should be a quick button for that. I don't see it. So I'm just going to right click down here and see if I can get that going. No. Usually line weight's right down here. I don't see it though. It's not loaded. Yeah. All right, you can always type LWT to get line weight. Looks like it's LW now. And then you can typically turn it on or off. display line weight right there. Okay. And that turns it on, right? So now I get to see the line weight that I just set to that layer. You'll need to play with it. Like where you want it to look good is here in layout, right? I'm gonna move my viewport out. And whether it looks good or not is going to depend on your zoom. And notice when I zoom back, the line weight goes away. It would just turn into a blob. So AutoCAD does some display stuff with this. When you zoom in, your line weight comes back. So to really see what your line weight's going to look like on a drawing, you need to go to a print preview. So I can go print. I can set up some printer if I want, or I can just say, okay, just PDF and then do a preview. And it'll show you what the line weight will look like on the paper when you print it. That's where it's most important. It can look really weird in AutoCAD based on your zoom and whether AutoCAD is regened or not, right? So, I mean, sometimes it just go away and you think they're gone, and then you go to print preview and it's like, oh no, it's beautiful, right? So again, if it looks weird in layout or even in model, you know, based on like that, right? Well, that's dumb. Well, that's just AutoCAD's regen ability. It can't regen, right? You got to check it in layout. But just think about it, when you set line weight, that's not a scalable thing. You're actually setting the line weight that'll show up on the paper. So you wouldn't want to set like a line weight of 1 inch, like that's going to be just horrid, right? So that's why I kind of chose a 0.5 millimeter, like, oh, that's thicker than, you know, what we want is that the visible line looks thicker than a thin line, right? So if I was to place a dimension, and this is where people don't like thick lines because you're not sure, like, where am I getting on that line? Because the line has thickness, right? Well, you're always getting the center point of it. Right? So if I zoom in, that spot it's hard to, yeah, it's regenning. So it's the center line of the line, which is good. That's what you want. But some people just don't like dealing with it. So they leave LW, they leave it off, don't display it. They're still thick, right? But if you don't display it and you go to layout, you don't get it. It's not going to print it. So it's got to look good in layout before you're going to get your line weights. And we are controlling that through the layer properties. So you can see that I set a thickness here to visible lines. I left hidden lines thin at default, dimensions thin, right? So anything that goes on this visible line layer gets this kind of thickness. Questions so far? It's not too bad. Yeah, just organize stuff. I'm going to actually turn LW back on so we can actually see it. See, it didn't do anything unless I missed it, but I don't think I did. Now it's back. So you just got to watch AutoCAD's regen. All right, so that's layers. You probably have figured this out. You can pull this down just to make quick changes. You don't have to go into properties. Like if I want, if you know, the dimensions are really bugging me, I can just turn them off. As long as it's on that layer, which that was not. So I'm going to throw it on that layer. Ah, see, it disappeared because I have dimensions off. So I've put the dimension on the dimension layer. It warned me that it's going to disappear. And I said, okay, and then it's gone. So it's not really gone. It's just that dimensions are not on. So I could turn it on and they would come back. Turn it off, and they go away. So you'll turn something off by accident and you'll think, oh my God, I just lost my drawing. You know, that happens a lot. Like somebody does that and they're going, oh, my drawing's gone, I'm freaking out. Be like, check your layers, see what's on, see what's off. If something's off, turn it back on. You can change the current layer, like I can just come up and pick the dimensions. And now that's the current layer. Right? So if I was to draw, it should be red. Because I'm drawing on the dimension layer. And I have put red to that layer, right? So I don't draw that way. I just draw on the 0 layer like this, right? And then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, that all should be, and I go place it on the layer it's supposed to be. I just don't like switching back and forth, and I forget. Yeah. I can't think of it. No, I don't think there is any. I can't think of a situation where you can't draw on the 0 layer. The only thing you could, the 0 layer gets used for a number of things other than just draw. You can't get rid of the 0 layer. First of all, it stays. Try and delete it. Good luck. It's not going away. Things like, here, let me turn the visible lines off. I'll show you this. I don't know if I'm going to answer your questions or not, but these, I don't know if you can see that dot right there. That is the dimension dot. That's the location for the dimension. Those get put on the 0 layer, just for example. So AutoCAD does use the 0 layer for different stuff, but you can draw on it too. Like, yeah. All right. Let's talk about templates, because once you get layers set up, you don't want to have to recreate these things every time, right? You could have 20 layers. And every other setting that you've ever worked with, like all of the dimension settings that you like I don't want 4 decimal places, right? And every time I go into AutoCAD, I get 4 decimal places. There's a number of things like that in AutoCAD that we have messed with. All of those settings get saved in the template when you create a template. Your layouts down here, those get saved in the template. So we should have title blocks in our layouts. We should have a layout for A size. We should have a layout for B size, right? This whole drawing is my US system drawing. It's inches and feet. So we should have a template for that. And then you will need a different template for metric. So you can't get like a layout for US and a layout for metric in the same drawing. That doesn't work. So we do typically have at least 2 templates, one for the metric system, one for the US system. And inside those, we have, our layouts all set up for at least 2 pieces of paper, A size and B size. That's good. So let me remind you how to do that. Layout, right click, and you can, did I miss it? Because I don't see page setup. Here, I'm going to go into layout, right click, page setup manager, right there. So this one, I believe, is set to A size. Yep, A size. So this one's good. I would want to name it. Don't leave it layout 1. There is a rename, and you can call it, and I would call it US A size. You could write US 8.5 by 11. You can make these titles as long as you want. It kind of looks like USA. So I'm going to change that to something that makes sense to me. So USA size, right? This one's going to be rename. I didn't like that. Why didn't I like that? Trying that again. Oh, I bet I can't use quotes. All right, A size paper. And then rename, and this is going to be B. I got rid of the US because this is going to be a template. I'm going to name that a US template. Okay. So B size, I got to actually make it B size. So page setup, got to go into it. I just not see it? I just don't see it. And I'll go to B size. So ANSI B size is 11 by 17. You know, and then of course, if you had more, you know, different size papers that you worked with at your place of work or that you just want to work with, you would add them in. So you have them. If, I think I've said this before, but if you want this dotted line buffer, and that's the printer printable space, if you want it to be more accurate to your printer, then you got to put your printer in, right? Because when I go here and I go right click and I do page setup manager, modify, it says none for the printer because I don't really have one. I mean, I have the Xerox thing. So I could say, okay, I'm going to print to, it's this one, that, and say, okay. And it does, see how it changed it? Yeah. So you'll always get more space if you actually define the printer. So if you're like at home and you have an HP DeskJet or whatever, choose it and it'll put that buffer out and give you more usable space. We always want more usable space. And then I just get close. All right, that looks good. Okay. So now we're starting to set up our template. I would have my title block in here. So I would build a title block that's good to go, right? That I can use every time I come in. You would not, in a template, you would not have a drawing. No drawing in a template, right? I, on the other hand, actually put like a circle in just so when I come in, I know that, oh, this is a template and it's ready to go. For some reason, just a blank slate is disturbing when I open a template. I don't know why, but I do immediately look to see that my layers came in, you know, and that everything is, title blocks are here. So I'd always go here and here and go, yeah, this looks good. This is my title block. You're gonna have placeholders for everything. Like in your title block, you should have date, and you should put in a date like XX/XX/XXXX. Then you can just go edit that text when you go into it, right? So create your title block in both A and B, and whatever you create in here, like here, I'll do one real quick. I'm going to put this one. Notice I'm in paper space. That's where your title block would go, right? I have no idea how big I made that. So there's a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to move those. I don't want to go that far. Now I'm going to move. All right, so I'm starting my title block, right? The title block, you can literally copy and paste it. Once I got it done, I can copy and paste it over to here if I think I can use it. Maybe I can use it across the bottom, right? It'll be the same size. So you shouldn't have to, like, from scratch create 2 title blocks. It's kind of fun because Control-C, which is copy in the old Mac, that's where it came from, is Macs. Yep. PCs stole it, and Microsoft stole it, and everybody else stole it. It's Control-C and Control-V, which is Velcro, and that's a Mac thing. It's not that's just flat stealing stuff from Apple. So it's pretty fun. It's true. So I can go Control-C, and then I can come into here and go Control-V, and I get it. Not fun. And then I can do RO, which is rotate, right? And if this was a complete title block, I'm actually saving a lot of time. 3 lines, probably not saving that much time, but move right to here. Yeah, it could be slightly different. I haven't changed the buffer size here, and you may have a little tweaking to do, but it's nothing like redrawing it. Like, once you get a title block, use it for both your A and B size and get it in both. Yep, yeah, just copy it and move it over. Yep. Keep it in paper space. I would definitely create a layer for it. So I would have a title block layer. You know, and give it a color if you want, whatever you want to do there. But it should be on there, right? So I'll give it a color just so we can see things change. And then this kind of stuff, I would just throw it onto its, whoops, that's not it. Onto its layer. Right? All right. Once you get all the things done that you want done in your template, you need to save it as a template. So that's pretty simple. File, save as. Instead of an AutoCAD drawing right here, I don't know why it's 2018. It's supposed to be 22. Look at 22. And it's saving it as 18. That's what the hell? That's trash. Yeah, there is no 22 in there, but there's template right there. ACAD drawing template. Boom. Notice it's going to put it in the ACAD registry folder template. So it's going to be there right along with ACAD and ACAD ISO. It's going to be right with them. So I'm actually going to say Donaldson US. So I'm going to give it my name because it's my template, right? If it was a company, then it's probably going to be the company's name and then a US template. And you can give it as much information here as you want. But then I'll go save. Normal English feet drawing, da 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 da. Yep, that's great. Save all layers as unreconciled. I'm not sure exactly what it's saying there, but I've always just said okay. All right. Now this is a template. See how it says template up on top? Works just like a drawing. Like you literally can open the template just like a DWG, but it is a template file. So when I go to do a new drawing, I have choices here, right? This was my first, here's my second, and there's my new one. I can use my template. All the settings will come in. If I do that, you can see I actually put a little drawing in there. That's kind of just my thing to know that it's actually mine. And it comes in, I have both layouts. This is a new drawing. See what it's called? Drawing, not template. So it used the template to create a new drawing. It didn't rename the drawing, still just called drawing 2. But I got all my settings. My layers are here. Yay. My 2 paper spaces are here with my really cool title block. It's all here, ready to go. I don't have to create new stuff. They don't work for every drawing. Like I do both mechanical drawings and architectural drawings. So like this wouldn't work for an architectural drawing for me. I'd want other units, maybe other layers like a foundation layer, electrical layer, a plumbing layer, you know, roof layer, floor level 1 layer, floor level 2 layer, on and on and on. Architectural drawings construction drawings get complicated fast. And you want to be able to turn that crap off. You don't want the electrical on and the plumbing on and the concrete on and the roofing on, and then print that and try and submit it to somebody. They're just going to be like, what are you doing? Right?
That wouldn't make any sense.
Complete chaos is what that would be. What they want is they want to look at the foundation, all the concrete. Then they want to turn the page and they want to see the exterior walls, but they really don't need to see the concrete anymore. But when you draw, you don't want to have to draw all those separately. You want to draw one on top of the other because it's so easy. Once you get the concrete done, then the external walls are just right on the concrete. And then you can just turn that layer off. And then you can do the electrical just with the walls, right? You don't want the roof structure on when you're doing that. It's just chaos. So it is really, really, really beneficial. All right. I think that's good. What you're going to do is you're going to create two templates, a metric version and a US version. And inside those templates, there's going to be layers that you can set up. You choose what they're going to be. And also A size and B size paper in both. That makes sense? All right. Here's one other piece. I think I have enough drawings going. Yeah, so I have my template going. I have drawing 2 going. Here, I just want to show you this because this is nice. I'm going to start one more. Drawing 3, it used my template. I didn't want that. Get rid of that. No, start a new drawing. I'll show you how to steal stuff from drawings. This is golden. This is an eye opener when I learned this, or when they actually introduced this. So here's drawing 4. I started it. I didn't use a template, so I got nothing here, right? Just back to, and I'm sure I got 4 places on my dimensions, everything I don't want. But sometimes you do just want to start a clean drawing and then pull things in from other drawings. So you can do that with something called the design. I'm going to struggle to find it, but I'll find it. I bet it's an insert. Come on, where are you? I feel like I'm close. Guess I should have found it first. There it is. Design Center. So where is it? View, or am I in layout? No, I'm in layout. That's down here. I think I'm in view, right? View tab. And it's right there. It's called the Design Center. There's probably a shortcut for it. AD Center, is that the shortcut? I don't know. When you click on it, what it does is it just brings up like a tree, right? A location file tree. So as I scroll through, I can see like the desktop. If I click on it, I can see, oh, there's a bunch of drawings here, right? And if there's something I want from a drawing, which I don't know if I have a title block in any, oh, I know I have a title block in there. So let's do that. I can click on this. 2 clicks, and I can see properties of that drawing. So I could steal layers from this drawing and bring them into where I have no layers, right? I could steal layouts from this drawing. So if I click on layouts, and I'm 2 clicking, I see layout 1 and layout 2. I can literally grab layout 1. It's probably not gonna let me do this because it's not the right name. Bring it down here. Yeah, it's since they're not renamed. Can't rename it. Let me bring 1 in. Nope. Dang it. All right, let's look for something else here. I don't think I have layers. Yeah, I don't. I can actually steal a drawing too. That's kind of fun. All right, so where'd I put, now that we know where this is, I'll use drawing 2. It's on the desktop. All right, let's go through that again. So now I'm looking for drawing 2 on the desktop. I'm just going to go back to the desktop. Anybody see it? Drawing 2. I don't see it. Okay, try one more time. Maybe it just doesn't like that. Maybe I put it somewhere else. It's on the desktop. I'll call it something different. All right, now. Design Center. I don't see that one either. Why is it not placing things on there? Maybe it's this PC. I don't think so, though. That's the full tree, not the desktop. Odd. I'm gonna see if it's sitting there. Drawing 2 is there. And test layouts is there. So I must not be looking at the right. Start a drawing. Get rid of the grid. Go to the design manager. Yeah, it's not showing me the drawings for some reason. I feel like I'm not looking at it. Weird. Well, I don't know how to solve that. Oh, are they down here? Nope, these are the same ones. I feel like there's another desktop somewhere. Ideas? I did test, I called it test 2. Remember, it's right here. Drawing 2 and test layout. Both of those. And it's not coming up on the drawing tree here. This PC, Windows, users, maybe this is the problem. Troy. Desktop. Nope. I don't see. Oh, there it is. Interesting. Yeah, so there's a desktop for the user Troy, and then there's another desktop. That's crazy. Hi, Todd. What's up?
I'll have your desktop. Can I borrow your keys to that back room? I forgot my keys today. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't see you stand there. I was obsessed with.
That's. I
was obsessed with desktops. Yeah, well, I solved the problem, but it took me a long time, as you'll see on the recording. All right, so here it is. Now that we've lost completely momentum of what we're doing. And there's the 2 layouts. They're not in this drawing, but I can literally drag them in and drop them. So now, didn't let that happen. There it is, A size paper. And I can bring B in. So you can steal things. You can steal things from, I'll show you one other thing now that I've lost you, but that's all right. I'm still having fun. Under program files, there is Autodesk. Under Autodesk, there is AutoCAD. Whoops. Under AutoCAD, there are, you'll learn this, sample files. Under sample files, there's mechanical sample and US. Inside there, there's a lot of things you can steal. Yeah. So like there's a home space planner. I can just take and drag it and place it. There are fasteners, electrical, there's a bunch of stuff. So from the AutoCAD sample area, you can get a lot of stuff. It's kind of fun. Like here is a mechanical bunch of lettering stuff. I mean, dimensioning stuff. There's one other one I like to use a lot. It's probably in here. Yeah, there's a bunch of design blocks in here. So mechanical, if I wanted to look at their blocks, there's some bearings and weld symbols and a number of things you can steal and bring in. And when you do that, it comes in. I must not have placed it, because I don't see it. Comes in as a block. So a number of things come in and then you can explode it and just pick them apart. So it's kind of fun.
Where did you go initially to find it?
That's exactly a great point. Design Center, it's right there. Design Center. And then from there, you can kind of follow the video, but you get to these sample files. So it's under the View tab. Yeah, and then it's right here, Design Center. All right, that's enough. Make your templates, save them, and then upload them to me. I think you have till next Tuesday to do it.